So I have a story to tell you. Remember if you watched I can talk like crazy and then I get this stupid this thing on and I can't seem to talk. Sunlight in my eyes too.
We're on the road to Santiago. We're on the road to find ourselves.
If you watch the video from the last time I visited the Camino, you probably noticed it was pretty difficult at times, and I had a pretty epic meltdown. Sarria, the morning I left Sarria, I was very much depressed and just wanted to be done walking.
I'm just confused. I'm kind of ready to step off. Just trying to motivate myself to go because I really don't want to walk today.
I was depressed for a lot of reasons. I had encountered some people that I didn't really jive with on the Camino. I'd exhausted myself. I'd hurt myself. I'd done some stupid things. I decided I would end in Puerto Marin. I was just, gee whiz, last day on the Camino. Now, one thing I want to tell you about the Sarria to Santiago section, the 113 kilometers. Technically, it is the last 113 kilometers, the last stage of the Camino Frances. But according to my friend Jose, who does the Camino podcast, the El Camino people, he says it's actually the first 100 kilometers. Because most people who say, oh, I'm just going to go dip my toe in the Camino and walk from Sarria to Santiago, they end up coming back and walking more. And that was my case, 2018, y'all know, that was my first 100 kilometers, then I came back, and then I came back again. Something about the Camino just keeps calling us back. But this last time, this third time, had a rough time. Sarria, leaving Sarria, I was depressed, bummed out.
I'm really ready to be done with this. It's different this time.
There's a part of the Sarria to Puerto Marin walk that I didn't tell you about. A couple people I met right there at the little bridge. Camino comes down this way and then crosses this little bridge and goes on. The little bridge there that's on the west side of Sarria, that's the Camino proper. And my first time coming from the train station, that is technically where the actual Camino hits that side road. So I've often said walking on that bridge was my first time walking on the actual Camino. Those were my first steps. So here I was, it was my third time in Sarria. I was sitting on the bench thinking about watching the sun come up, and this couple comes along. Loic and Bertie are their names. And I saw them pause to take some footage of Loic walking across the bridge.
And when you meet other hikers, do not forget to say,
Bon Camino!
When Loic and Bertie arrived, I was sitting on the bench right here. There it is, and over here is the bridge. So when this clip was shot, I was literally just out of frame. And here I was, depressed, feeling sorry for myself because my Camino revisit, my Camino Redux, whatever you want to call it, had not turned out as beautifully as I'd imagined. And I see this couple, and Bertie is taking video of Loic, and I said, hey, are you making a YouTube channel? And they said, yeah, we're starting one. And I said, I have a channel. I'll walk with you. And I did walk with them briefly. Never got any footage of them on my camera except for a little shot of them walking, and it's blurry.
Guys disappearing up there.
But they put their first step. What they were doing was they had flown into Santiago, taken a bus or a train. You have to look at their video. I'll put a link down below. Taking a bus or a train to Sarria because they wanted to walk the last 100 kilometers. Most peregrinos make fun of people who start in Sarria. They certainly made fun of me. They don't do it to your face, but you can feel their energy. I could certainly feel that energy my first time in 2018. I even saw graffiti on the side of one of the markers that said, Jesus didn't start in Sarria. And I had a few choice words to say about that. And then somebody had to graffiti one of the mile markers and say Jesus didn't start in Sarria. So the whole point of that is to make you feel guilty for starting in Sarria, is how it's pronounced, instead of starting at the beginning. But like a friend of mine I met on the Camino said, we don't know everybody's story. you know, and it's kind of rude to make these assumptions about people just when you don't know their story. But here I was, my third time on the Camino, and of course going through Sarria again, and fully aware that, you know, after the 2021 Camino, I certainly had some complaints, but aware that a lot of people like to start in Sarria. It's their first time on the Camino, they don't know anything. And I thought, well, I have a choice. I can judge them like the person that left that graffiti, or I can be the kind of person my father would be. Most of you know my whole Camino was driven by my dad and his death. I could be like Dad and help these folks. So, you know, I helped them, kind of told them what to expect, walked with them. So they sent the first video, and apparently I made an impression.
So we just left a backpacker where we had the breakfast. We shared the breakfast with our American friend Matthew. Pretty interesting guy. On the Camino 3 times so far. Started the first time like us in Sarria, and I think it was last year. So he hiked for 700 kilometers last year. Pretty decent. I don't know if you have seen the movie The Way about the Camino path, but in this movie there is a Dutch guy who always look for party and good food and so on. And the funny thing is, the Matt that we met before, when he was in a difficult situation spiritually, I mean morally, there was always this Dutch guy that he found on the top of the hill, waiting for him with a big smile, and really remind me the guy from the movie. I don't know if all Dutch guys are like this.
Maybe the way
Let us know.
Story.
The Dutchman they're talking about is Jonas, of course. You know my stories of Jonas, who was my Camino angel. Making good time, my friend.
Hello.
Hello.
So the start, it's a start, new start.
Are you kidding me? Who is this up ahead?
Oh, wow.
Look at this. This is my friend Jonas.
Hey, good morning.
Here's the thing. Loic recently wrote to me and said, you know, do you know, he said that I was the first person the two of them encountered on the Camino. I was the first peregrino they encountered. So I was their first impression of the Camino de Santiago. And they were angels to me because I was having a miserable time on the Camino that third time. So God, or the universe, or the Camino, or whatever higher power you want to believe in, sent me 2 people who were just starting out and said, okay, here's an opportunity for you to get out of your own bullshit and help 2 people. Just be present for 2 people. Just give them a positive experience, or a positive starting experience on the Camino. Because that's how the Camino works. And I don't post this to toot my horn and say, look what a good, you know, virtue signal. That's a big thing in America. We like to virtue signal. I don't do that. I post this to share with you a lesson that I took from that experience. Camino provides. And sometimes what it provides is an opportunity for you to provide. Because sometimes what you need, all the time, what you need is an opportunity to be of service to others. Because being of service gives you a sense of purpose, a sense of value. And it's one of the reasons Shanti Deva said, the man who seeks the happiness of others is forever happy himself. But the man who seeks his own happiness forever suffers. I got the semantics a bit wrong. Here is the actual quote. I don't know what I'm seeking today. Better shut off because I'm out in the woods to find out.